Hello, year two. Welcome to Wednesday's video for writing. So I'm going to start you off straight away with a question. What do you think makes a good ending to a story and why? Okay, so off you go. Have a discussion with somebody at home and pop me on pause whilst you do this. Okay, great. I'm sure you had a really good chat with someone at home. It's so important that we carry on having really high quality discussions because it's great to get different opinions and thoughts. So, I've got some different story endings here, and I would like you to decide which story ending you like the best and why. So I have got this attached on the Padlet if you'd like to print it out, but if not, you can just carry on listening as I read the endings to you. So the first one, it was all just a dream, or was it? And they lived happily ever after. Holly found the treasure. It was pretty. The end. With the glowing sun setting over the hills, Jack settled down to sleep after his big, exciting adventure. Okay, pop me on pause and have a discussion. What is your favourite story ending and why? Okay, really well done there. So I'm going to go through all of these. So starting off with the first one, it was all just a dream or was it? So I think this is a very interesting way to end a story. I'm sure that before the final line, the author would have gone into a lot of detail about how the story ended, but this is just the final sentence. Now, it seems as if the writer, the person that wrote the story, is almost allowing the reader, the audience, to decide how they think the story should end. So it's as if the reader is going to decide whether they believe it was true, whether they believe the story happened, or whether they think the character was just dreaming. So that is a really interesting way to end your story. Okay, so the next one, and they all lived happily ever after. Now, I'm sure you probably recognise that from our Twisted Tales topic, which we did in autumn, so from September to December. That's a very traditional way of ending a story. And I think you could do something a bit more imaginative in your story writing. So, next up, Holly found the treasure. It was pretty, the end. Now, with this one, I think so. The writer has wrapped up, they've ended it. So we understand Holly found the treasure. So I imagine she was on a bit of a treasure hunt. They've said the treasure was pretty, but I think it's almost uh, not that interesting, really. I think we could add some really interesting detail. I feel as if I'm missing some information as the reader. I'd like to find out, how was Holly feeling when she found the treasure? What did the treasure look like? What sort of treasure was in the box? And did she keep the treasure? Did someone else find the treasure? I feel like there is some missing information here. So I think this has really got the potential to be expanded. We need to add some more information to make this a bit more interesting and to satisfy our reader, because our reader's gone on such a journey as they are reading your story. So we need to make sure that they have a fantastic ending to it. Okay, so the final one. With the glowing sun setting over the hills, Jack settled down to sleep after his big, exciting adventure. So I think this is a really interesting way to end a story. We've got some beautiful adjectives, so describing words, and we have an answer to how the story has ended. Okay, well done for doing that task. So next up, we are going to discuss what makes a good ending to a story. So there are different types of story endings. An explicit ending wraps up all of the loose ends. So, explicit is something that's obvious, it's something we can see and we understand. So, typically, this ending is happy and satisfying, although it can be unhappy. So, an example of an explicit ending could be Holly found the treasure. We understand Holly found the treasure, and that is how the story ended. Next up, a twist ending is unexpected. The reader cannot anticipate what will happen, so they're not sure how the story is going to end. It is important to write a twist ending in such a way that the reader is still satisfied, so they're still happy that they finished the story and they don't feel cheated. So they don't feel like they've got to the end of reading a story and think, oh, well, that's not an ending, and almost wish that they hadn't read it in the first place. So, an example of a twist ending is definitely the first one. It was all just a dream, or was it? So, we have got a video link for you to watch with Julia Donaldson talking about how to write an ending. So I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with who Julia Donaldson is. So I'd like you to play the video link, which should be in the Padlet home learning plan, and listen to Julia talking all about how to write a story ending. Pop me on pause whilst you do this. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video. So it's really interesting to hear what other people think about story endings. And Julia Donaldson herself has her own opinion. And she said that she doesn't like it when authors say it was all just a dream. In her opinion, she finds it unsatisfying because all of the mysterious things might not have happened in the story. So next up. Before you start writing your ending, you need to reread your story so far. So look at your plan. Have you covered everything? Have you got your introduction? Have you got country number 1, country number 2, and country number 3? How do you want your story to end? How are your characters going to feel? So that's Mr. White, the polar bear, the pilchard browns, so the penguin family, and the chick. What will Mr. White do once he returns the chick to its family? What will your closing sentences be? So, for example, the pilchard browns said a sad farewell to Mr. White. Mr. White made the long journey back home, but promised to return every year to celebrate the penguin chick's birthday. So have a discussion with someone at home about your ending, because even though we're at the end of your story, it's still a really important piece to write. This is why we've broken it down into different stages. We really want you to focus on each stage and make it very exciting. So pop me on pause, have a discussion, think about your story ending. Okay, well done for doing that. And finally, we would like you to go ahead and start writing the end to your story, please. So remember these bits I've just gone through, thinking about how your characters are feeling. What is Mr. White going to do when he returns the chick? And what are your final closing sentences going to be? Really well done today. I look forward to seeing everything you've done via the Year 2 email address, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.